For years, IdeaStream's listening project has found that Northeast Ohio residents consider Lake Erie to be one of our region's biggest assets, and that feedback helps us shape our reporting on stories like this one. Tuesday, a coalition of Great Lakes organizations sent a notice of intent to sue the U.S. EPA. They say the agency isn't moving fast enough to clean up Lake Erie. The filing from conservation, environmental, and boating groups is the latest effort to designate Western Lake Erie as an impaired body of water. From Great Lakes Today, Elizabeth Miller joins Darielle with more.
Thanks, Rick. So, Elizabeth, this group wants the Western Lake Erie designated as impaired, but what does that mean and which groups are involved?
So an impairment designation comes from the U.S. EPA. It's a classification that says a body of water is impaired for drinking, for fishing, for recreation. And the impairment designation sets total maximum daily loads. It identifies sources of pollution and limits how much pollution is allowed into the Lake Erie, also called a pollution diet. And in Western Lake Erie, there's a lot of pollution coming from water treatment plants and also runoff from agriculture. So the groups involved in this are the National Wildlife Federation, the Lake Erie Charter Boat Association, Ohio Environmental Council, and a couple groups from Michigan.
So the coalition has filed a notice of intent to sue. So if and when they do file the lawsuit, what will the lawsuit be about?
So every 2 years, the U.S. EPA states send to the U.S. EPA a list of impaired waters. And so the U.S. EPA either approves or denies that list. The notice that was filed last week says that the U.S. EPA has taken longer than 30 days to get back to each state. Ohio sent its list in October, Michigan sent its list in November. And so the U.S. EPA has 30 days to send that list back to each state. And so the National Wildlife Federation believes that the U.S. EPA is in violation of the Clean Water Act by spending longer than 30 days for this.
So what has the U.S. EPA, what have they had to say about this letter or this lawsuit of intent?
Well, the U.S. EPA says it's still looking at its list from Michigan and Ohio, but Michigan did include Lake Erie, Western Lake Erie on its impaired list. Ohio did not.
But, just real quick, this has gained a lot of attention this year. What Michigan has put their part of the Lake Erie on the impaired list. Why hasn't Ohio?
Well, Ohio says that because they add their rivers, their tributaries, and their streams that flow into Lake Erie, then that's enough to clean the lake. Environmental advocates, U.S. Congresswoman Marcy Kaptur and Toledo Mayor Paula Hicks Hudson say that's not enough.
Okay. Well, Elizabeth, thank you for that. Back to you, Rick.
Great Lakes Today is a collaboration of WBFO Buffalo, IdeaStream Cleveland, and WXXI Rochester. For a link to more stories on the Great Lakes, go to our website, ideastream.org/ideasnow.